Good morning, how's it going? Just a quick one, just wanted to make a short video just to explain what's happening at the moment with our constitutional right to cast a constitutionally lawful protest vote, which people are calling a VoNC, a vote of no confidence. It's our belief that the AEC, whether you think they're legal or illegal, under the Electoral Act, is obligated to declare and prosecute the will of the people, which is the majority of people at an election, what they vote for. Now, we also firmly believe that where the majority of people vote a no confidence vote in all candidates, because remember that under our lawful constitution we are entitled to have independent representation in our parliament, and suitable candidates to follow our will, because we are the only country in the world that has a constitution that provides for government at the will of the people. So it follows that all of the excuses and all the people that are bagging the crap out of what we say, which is it is a lawful vote, and it has been made informal because the career politicians and their unlawful political parties changed the Electoral Act to make the rules suit their re-election. And we believe that's unlawful because we don't see anywhere where that change was taken to the people for their consent. So in actual fact, what they've done is they have changed the system to their advantage, the system that actually is used to get them re-elected. So in actual fact, they've gained advantage of the Australian people by deception. That's like match fixing, race fixing, all the things in a normal democracy they put you in jail for if you get caught doing it. So they've done it by stealth because they've changed the act and not got the consent of the people. So that's where we're coming from, and I think that if any logical thinking person would understand that. But there are a lot of people out there that keep saying, oh, if you cast a vote like that, the scrutineers have been told to throw them in the bin. I think that's bullshit. We've challenged a few people that have said that they were scrutineers, and we've actually found out that they've never ever worked at a polling booth. I've also spoke to polling booth managers that say that they are required by the AEC to audit all the ballot papers that come through their booth. So if you think for 1 second that someone's going to risk a term in a federal prison, because it is a federal offence to interfere with a lawful election, with a federal or state or let's forget about council, but it's a federal offence. So you think for 1 second that people are going to throw ballots away and risk a federal prison term? Why would they do that? I mean, unless they are government planted people or career politician planted people to do that, there is no benefit for them to do that. So these people that say, oh, I was a scrutineer, blah, 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 I don't think that they're being truthful. I think they're suffering from career politician instigated generational brainwashing to believe that it's their way, their unlawful voting system, or it's nothing. So they created a situation where back in some people say 1913, 1918, where they were not getting enough votes for their party, so they decided to create the two-party preferred system. A lot of people think this doesn't exist and it's just a word. It exists, trust me. Our political history shows that to be a fact. We have had since 1918 or 13 or 18 a Liberal, which is now Liberal National, or Labor government every federal election since. So don't tell me that it's not a two-party preferred system. The preferential voting system, which a lot of people also bag, saying that only voters can give preferences. Well, we've all seen that this week that's a lot of bullshit, because the Prime Minister Morrison and Pauline Hanson from One Nation have been arguing about a preference deal that they supposedly had, and then now it doesn't exist anymore because Morrison doesn't want to do it. So if only the voters can affect the preferencing, what are they talking about? Come on, people, trust me. Any vote in the current unlawful two-party preferred system is a vote for one of the two preferred parties. Think about it. They manipulate the preferences to get the use of them, and then they give them to whomever they want to be elected. And yes, a few independents will sneak through every now and then, but invariably all independents, and our history, again, our political history shows this, all independents finish up doing backroom deals with the LNP or Labor, just to get a few scraps for their own electorate, which doesn't do anything for Australia or Australians as a whole. It's good for that electorate, but it's not solving the national problems. The national problems are the UN New World Order globalisation influences that have been pushed on our country. And if we're not careful, they will take over, and we will cease to exist as Aussie Australians, and we will probably be a minority in our own country. So what I'm saying to you is, the alternative to doing something different to what I'm suggesting, which is constitutionally lawful protest vote, is to re-elect LNP or Labor. Casting an intentional informal vote due to dissatisfaction with our democracy and lack of confidence in our parliament and our voting system, which is the designation given to our VoNC by the AEC, regardless of whether you think they're legal or not. They have given it that designation. So by giving it that designation and saying it has no value, which they're referring to monetary value because no one gets paid for it, I think that they are finally starting to realise that the people are starting to voice their opinion and are starting to exercise their constitutional rights. So people, please don't get sucked into this generational brainwashing thought process where when someone comes up with something new or different, you automatically bag it. Our alternative is more of the same. If we don't do something as a united Australia, we won't have an Australia to unite for. We have a lawful constitution, regardless of whether the government and the career politicians are currently using it or not. We still have it. It's indissoluble, which means it cannot be dissolved. It can only be changed by referenda, and it can only be, well, it actually can be dissolved by the majority of Australian people agreeing with our reigning monarch, which at the moment is QE2, to dissolve it. That's never going to happen, because if anything, we will make changes to make sure that we never get into this sort of crap ever again, so that we can make sure that no person or political entity, or any entity for that matter, ever has more power than the people. So that's where we're coming from. So seriously, think about this logically. All the crap that's floating around about our campaign for a vote of no confidence being a waste of vote, it's not. And by the way, stop using the word donkey vote. A donkey vote is actually a formal vote. It's a vote that is numbered from the first box number 1 to the last box, whatever the last number is, and the person in the box number 1 gets the vote. That's why the politicians always want to be at the top of the ballot, because they know that a lot of people do donkey vote, which is just 1 to whatever, and they get that vote. So stop calling it a donkey vote. Nothing to do with a donkey vote. It's a constitutionally lawful protest vote. We're allowed to cast this under our lawful constitution. Look it up. And the informality of the vote is an unlawful amendment to the Electoral Act by the career politicians to get rid of people like us and say, oh, your vote doesn't count. But we still believe under our lawful constitution, the AEC is bound to prosecute the will of the majority of the people. And if that's no confidence in all candidates, then that's what they have to prosecute. And we would love to get that before the High Court, the Governor General and the Queen. So the other thing to remember too is when you cast the ballot, use a black biro or a felt tip pen. Take a photo on your phone of your ballot. Don't write anything else on it that's not on it. Not suitable to follow my will, obviously has to be at the bottom. Don't write anything else on it, because that will taint the vote. This is a specific way that we want to do things, and the picture on your phone will be used as proof that these votes were cast. So if all these airy-fairy so-called scrutineers are throwing votes away, they're all going to jail. All right, that's all I got for you today. Have a good weekend. Advance Australia Fair. Look, there's no one in this country that loves this country more than I do, but I need your help. I need your help. And I'm telling you now that we have to do this. We have to do it. All right? See you later.